Welcome to another Sorare review. I'm currently recording this. It is 2 p.m. where I am, and the Brighton and Bournemouth game is in the 60th minute, and it does affect my game week 45. However, I don't think much is going to change, so I might as well do it now. So we'll go over the stuff from the 13th to the 16th. There wasn't many games on. It was just Bundesliga, Arena, and All Star for me with my common cards. Frustratingly, we were very close to hitting the 350 mark. If I had captained Amiri or Coble, I think I would have got it probably. We had a decent score. I mean, 350 isn't bad. 51st with only 200, and then 65th with this one. I went pretty heavy on Dortmund, Bayern, and Mainz, and it didn't actually go badly. All three teams won. However, there was not much impact from the players I picked too much. There was a decent amount. I'm not saying there wasn't, but it could have been better. You know what I mean? I did some of the arena. Unfortunately, we didn't win anything. I went pretty heavy on Wolfsburg, which again, another good decision. Annoyingly, I was 5 points away. And as you can see, if I had captained any of these front two, I think we would have got 400 essence. However, it's not the end of the world, because I then tried to do this. I wasn't far away. I was 18, 19 points away. Again, if I captained a different person, it might have been a bit different. You win some, you lose some. Onto the All-Star team. I went very heavy in Hoffenheim, and it worked. I captained Wouterberger. Amazing. Aslani got an assist. Kufal had a strong game. Baumann only conceded one, but made good saves. And then on the flip side, I went pretty heavy with the African Cup of Nations with Lukuba and Manuel Neuer. Manuel Neuer had just error led to goal. Unfortunately, that kind of screwed me. But it wasn't that great of a week. We got 800 in rewards, but there wasn't much going on. Now, that looks fantastic. However, when you see my arena teams, you will disagree. Premier League went heavy on Newcastle, and it wasn't bad because I picked defensively pretty good. Bruno always has a good game. It was just these two up top. Like, there wasn't a better option I could have picked. I firmly believed it was going to be a 3 or 4-0 Man City win. So I went heavy with Donnarumma, which was a good decision even with goals conceded, and I thought Haaland would get 2 because he hasn't actually scored very much recently. I thought he was going to have a game like these. He did not. And Arsenal, who expected Arsenal to draw to Nottingham Forest, it just screwed me. And it is what it is. It was an awful week. Ligue 1, we had a good one. This was a risk. I was risking it by doing PSG. I know that sounds ridiculous, but with Lille being third, it could have gone either way, really. And especially as PSG have not been in the best sort of playing form recently. But 408 points, we hit that fire mark. We were only a few points away, so if we captained a bit better, we could have had a different score. I don't have any other strikers for PSG. Literally, he was the only one that didn't do anything. Even Barcola. I have Barcola, but he was on the bench, so I thought, why would I pick him? And I should have, because any other would have been great. On the other side, I went for Lens and Marseille, and it came out well. Even with Marseille conceding 2, Rulli had 2, Emerson just had 2 assists, which helps. Wesley Slide had a goal. He had a strong game in midfield, and then Ballardi, the goals conceded kind of screwed it, but it was still pretty good. One point away from having that extra as well, but that was a good week. La Liga, in all honesty, the less said the better. I went for Espanyol because I expected them to win. They didn't. They lost 2-0 to Girona, and it just as soon as he conceded the penalty, it was gone. I knew it was a write-off, basically, 93rd. And one thing that's annoying here, Courtois, Carreras, Bellingham, Valverde. I did this team before I did any of the arena stuff. I put Gonzalo Garcia up top because he was the only option that came up when I typed in Real Madrid in my... when you're setting it up, I had Mbappe. And for some reason, Mbappe did not populate. If Mbappe had populated, he scored. And he had an 80 rating. So annoyingly, I would have got the 360 and had another fire. But it is what it is. I think we probably would have ended up with 300, but, you know, it is what it is. Bundesliga, honestly, I'm actually quite happy with these scores. We went pretty heavy on Frankfurt and Freiburg here, and then did a full Dortmund team. Up top, Dortmund were good. It was just this defensive and goalkeeping situation. I think if I had picked any other defender, Anton or Chan, basically, I would have been fine. And then Freiburg conceded 2, but Manzambi had a good game as always. Last-ditch tackle. Chaibi and Koch both had a good game, so not bad overall. And then we move on to the arena. Now this is where it gets a bit crazy. Because I have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 arenas this week. And I've not made profit, unfortunately. We start a full Mönchengladbach team. Joe Scally captain. He had a 99 match rating, Nicholas did. And Tabakovic did very little, to be honest. It wasn't a bad score. We got 300. This I was top for a long time. And I thought I might be able to work my way through. But as you can see, we're 63 points away, so we're not anywhere near. This one here, we are so close to second. 0.87 away. If I captained Budimir, which I know doesn't make sense with the Arsenal players, it was just, I knew he'd have a good game, and he did. We got another 500 there, so we're already looking like, I was like, when I got to this point, I was like, okay, we're having a good week. These were the first 3 I did, and then, it just went to shit. Bayern, honestly, just captain the wrong person, would have changed it. Captain the right person, we probably would have got 400 or 500. Osasuna, I used Hidalgo from Toulouse. Maybe if I'd had Budimir, I would have used him here. I don't know. It could have been different, but basically, we would have only got 300 probably by the look of it. I expected Betis to lose. I thought it would be a Villarreal win, and I put him in goal from the Betis Valles because I expected Villarreal to have a lot of shots because they've been looking good the last few weeks, and we're just nowhere near. None of them were really performed. Went heavy on Strasbourg, and it kind of came through. They conceded. Mike Penders had a bit of a shit game. Annoyingly, you see Godot has a goal and a mistake leading to goal. I almost put Enciso in. I also have Moreira. So if we had done them, we probably could have got 1,000, which is very frustrating, but it is what it is sometimes. And a good one here, but somehow we've got no points. I felt that this was going to be one of my stronger ones, and maybe it was because a lot of other people did it as well. Same with Stuttgart, chucked Alfonso Moreira up there as well. Captained well, but 23 points away, more probably because I got 3 players who were slightly under. I think that's the biggest issue I have, is that I have 2 or 3 that are really strong numbers, and then I have the rest that kind of fall off. Like, again, 1, 2 strong, 1 strong. I mean, that was rubbish, but 1, 2, 3 strong, 1, 2, 3 strong. Like, we have 3 at the back. Like, it is that type of thing. I thought Rennes were going to beat Le Havre, and it did not turn out that way. I got very lucky with him because he was the sub, but he came on in the 8th minute. And Bolo scored, got the goal, so it actually has helped a hell of a lot. However, we could have potentially got more. I expected an Aston Villa win, and I'm going to be very honest. When I was making this team, I was very close to just doing an Everton back line. So I was going to do Pickford and 2 defenders, and then do Morgan Rogers and Ollie Watkins. I don't think it would have changed that much. We've got it coming through, but we probably could have ended up with, honestly, 750, because when we look at it, you'll see it from my other videos. I typically play Pickford, O'Brien, Garner. Look at those scores. Typically, I play them. So we would have had 87 and 87 extra instead of Consa, so another 35, and another one here, 50. Well over. We would have got 1,000. But that's part of the game, isn't it? Freiburg, same thing. Expected them to do better. Emi Martinez had the mistake leading to the goal. As soon as that came through, it was over. Leon actually didn't do too bad. That goal, I think they scored late, did Brest. Yeah, 87th minute, fucked it. Tagliafico was on 60 at that point. He was on a good 64, and it just ruined it. Tessman had a shit game, but these two had goals and everything. Honestly, if that goal hadn't gone in, we would have been probably around 5th or 4th. Tagliafico, I doubled down, and I went I expected Barca to win, but I thought I didn't have many midfielders or strikers for Barca that I had. It was just a write-off. And then this one, which is the game on now, which is still going on right now, error to the penalty. Not sure if it was a penalty myself. Lewis Dunk's not had a great game. Neither has them. Evan Nilsson's had a shit game. But I'm expecting nothing from that. And here comes a weird one, right? So we had Bruno Fernandes and Anthony early games. I was on 80 score with the captain and 94 with another player, and I still had 3 players left. I then had Bruno get 59, and I realised I was on for a high score. And then these two just fucked it. Literally, if either of them had had like a clean sheet or goal involvement, it would have just been literally 400, 500 potentially. And this was a bit of a write-off anyway. I did Matt Ryan because I knew they'd have a good game against Real Madrid, and he did. Amora, I expected something, but I didn't know what. But it wasn't a bad score. Xhaka, as always, he's constantly in the 50s, always pretty solid. And then Rayo Vallecano just kind of broke down. They've had a very good last month, and they just kind of both died. So overall, we've got 400, 700, 1,000, 1,500, 1,800, 2,550. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12. We've lost 450 there. We've obviously gained it in other things, but we've lost, basically. So I'm going to try and do something a bit different, because we've got game week 46 coming up, and I haven't solidified this yet, but like this was my first initial thoughts based on the lineups. I need to be more tactical when it comes to my arenas, I think. I need to save some players for it, but we'll see. Overall, a hell of a lot of rewards, but take 450 away from that, and that's actually our rewards, because I've spent that 450. So not bad. I mean, we'll see. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully in the next couple of game weeks we'll have a good score. It's only European games, and then we have every single league coming up, so this will be a good one. I'm going to try hit 360 for 2 of the leagues to try to obviously coop back some of my essence that I've lost this week. But thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.